Here we go.
Cheers.
Man, another hit from M-Sun.
Ooh.
This is nice.
Dude, this is kind of like hard lemonade.
Yeah. This is, dang it. I wish I could read Yuzu Zake. This is Yuzu Sake from Nakamura. This is the same as Chiyozuru. This is the Chiyozuru brand.
Whoa, okay.
Yuzu Zake. M-Sun, another hit. You've already sent us like 3 or 4 bottles. Please send us more. You give us great. She gives us like great recommendations.
She gives us really great. Honestly, we've got like a pretty dedicated group of like people sending sake.
Yeah, I love it.
And they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They really do.
M-Sun,
You guys,
more of this, please. The last one that you gave us too was wonderful too. So more of everything, please. I trust your judgment.
So good. Wow. You know, this is so different from when we normally drink.
Well, yeah,
because
like, it's yuzu. You know?
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, of course. But like, so personally, I'm gonna be honest. I love citrus. Yeah, I love citrus.
Yeah. Although I got to tell you, so I mean, there's lots of citrus fruits out there. Yeah. But I really like yuzu because I feel like yuzu is not as sour as other citrus fruits. It has more of like a rounded flavor.
It's kind of weird. It definitely is like in between an orange and a lemon.
Yeah, it is.
It definitely is. But like, I love that it's got like the bitterness of a lemon.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing is, to be honest, I don't really like oranges because they're really sweet.
Yeah.
And I like the bitterness of lemon, but the thing that sucks about lemon is they're really sour.
Yeah.
Okay,
one of these days we should talk about like the differences in I don't know how to say this in English, but like fruit sensibilities, like fruits no kankaku, because in Japan there are so many types of citruses, but
it's so crazy.
In America, it's like lemon, lime,
orange, and that's it.
And like blood orange or tangerine.
Yeah. So we had the small little thing. I guess you would call them tangerines, but I always called them satsumas.
Oh, you call them satsumas?
Satsuma.
Really? Oh, that's probably like a West Coast thing.
Yeah, it might be. But
we called them clementines because we're from
clementines.
Europe.
That's what they were. But okay, I think we talked about this. But I remember us talking about this now. So they are clementines, but it's a Japanese company that owns them, and it's called Satsuma.
It's probably because
that's what it is.
It's probably because they came to Japan through Satsuma or something like that.
Something like that, right?
By the way, it's clementines, not clementines. Get it right.
Well, you're just from the East Coast. You don't know how to speak English.
What are you talking about? We're the ones who started everything. So
no, dude, it's from like
clementines.
Huckleberry Hound. Oh my darling, oh my darling,
oh my darling Clementine.
Exactly.
Okay, if you wanna be like the base like that, sure, that's totally fine. But the correct way to say it is Clementine.
Nope.
Anyways, we can talk about this another time.
There's an E at the end of that word. Becomes tine.
No, it just means that instead of an I, it becomes an E. It elongates from I to E. It doesn't have to become I. Wait a minute. We will discuss this another time. What's our topic for today? Tipping culture and in the States and how much we hate it and how
sucks so much.
And how happy we are that in Japan there's no tipping culture.
So I want to preface this.
Yeah.
It's not. I want to preface this from the idea that it's not that I'm cheap or stingy. Okay.
Wait, was I drinking out of this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I normally drink out of this one.
I know.
So I'm all mixed up today. I'm already kind of drunk.
Dude, I literally just handed it.
I know. I'm just confused now. But sorry, man. We've already filmed a bit.
So like I said, I want to preface this by saying this is not coming from a fact that it's like I don't want to pay more for my food.
Yeah.
In fact, I would be okay with tipping. Well, no, I'm not okay with tipping, but I would be okay with paying more for my food.
Yeah,
okay?
I would be okay with tipping if it was optional. Now it's kind of demanded.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of goes into what I really wanted to talk about with tipping is the arrogance of it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. I think before that though, I think what we need to do is we need to talk about where tipping culture comes from in the States. Do you know how tipping started?
No.
In the States? Okay. Let me break it down for you.
Maybe I do, but educate me.
It starts during the Great Depression in the 30s, where everyone was homeless and people could not afford to eat. So a lot of restaurants, instead of going out of business, they drastically reduced the cost of their food, but they would have you pay the servers so that you could pay them whatever you thought was worthwhile, so that the menu price would be cheaper, but you could pay the server and help support the server that way. And that's kind of where tipping culture came from. It's from when no one had any money and everyone was at risk of going homeless. And for a long time,
so good.
It is really good. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you, M-san. And so for a long time, tipping was seen as something that was optional. That was something that you did out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
And now it's become pretty much obligatory at restaurants.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I hate. Okay. So I want to rewind back to the 90s when both of us were growing up, right? And at that time in the 90s, it was considered mandatory to tip in the US, and it was like a mandatory 10%.
10%, yes.
10%.
And now it's like 20%.
Yeah, so dude, you're
sorry, man. I don't want to steal your thunder. I'm sorry.
So it was like mandatory 10%, 15% was
like
serviceable,
10 years ago.
like you've done okay, and then 20% was considered like you did a really good job.
Yeah.
Right? And then it kept creeping up until I think about like 2010, where it became 20% was the baseline.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, you need to tip me 20%. Then fast forward to 2020 when COVID happens, and you have, I don't even think it's like mandatory 20%. It's like 30% is like kind of the thing now.
20% is the baseline.
Yeah.
20% or more is what it is now.
But like people will get kind of grumpy if you don't even tip them like 25, you know, something like that. And not only that, but there's tips for like everything now. Like, you know, you can tip your grocery store cashier.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. They're just ringing you out.
There's just like random tips places. There's an expectation for you to tip when you order food. Like if you use an app like DoorDash or Uber Eats, or you order like pizza, you need to be able to tip like 20 or 30%.
Yeah.
And it's just absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember so back when this was probably back 2011 or 2012. I was out getting dinner with friends at a Japanese izakaya in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I was with a bunch of Japanese people. And it was about 8 people. And for some reason, we forgot the tip. And as we were walking out, the waiter jumped to the door so we couldn't leave and said, wait. You guys are not going to give us a tip? You need to give us a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can understand that because like they're working hard, you know. And like the idea of a tip is kind of like you're getting personalized care. Yeah. You're not just getting general care, but you're getting personalized care. Someone is coming and caring about you as a person. And so for things like, for a restaurant, you know, they try to help you. They try to see that. But at like a coffee shop where you give your order and they make your coffee the way you want it, or at a grocery store, you know, it wasn't expected that you would give a tip.
Yeah.
You know? But it was so funny. Like one of these days, I remember, this was just a couple years ago. I was at a coffee shop in Seattle, and I was a coffee shop in Boston. And normally, you know, you would give a tip on your order, but what it would be is it would be like the difference in change. So let's say your coffee was $2.75, you give $3. That was it, right?
That's reasonable.
Yeah, that's reasonable because I don't want to handle the coins.
Hey, I don't want to deal with that either. Yeah. So that's like convenient for me.
Yeah.
Convenient for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And also they're making the coffee for you. But I remember one time I just went there and I bought a bag of coffee beans. So they didn't make anything. They just took it off the shelf and gave it to me. And once again, because it shared the same cash register system as the regular coffee shop, there was a tip option. And on the screen, and I went to no tip because I'm like, I'm just buying a bag of coffee. I don't need this. I pushed the no tip button. Yeah. It didn't move. It didn't react.
Yeah.
I had to pick like 15% and then it moved to the next screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to buy from here again, you know?
That's the thing that upsets me is, like you mentioned earlier, how it's just not optional.
Yeah.
Because you will straight up offend people to the point where they will like get angry at you if you don't tip people in America.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Like tipping should always be an optional thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're not making enough money, I'm sorry, do another job.
Well,
that's how I feel.
You know, it's funny though, because so I see this, so online I see a lot of people talking about complaining about tips and stuff. And so you have like I remember it was on Twitter or something, there was this Indian entrepreneur who came to Japan, who came to the States, and he wanted to give like a 5% tip, but the waiter pressured him into giving a 15% tip.
Oh, that happens all the time. Like, this is it? That's all you're giving me?
But then in the comments, you had all of these people who I guess work in the food service industry, and they said, if you can't afford to tip, you shouldn't eat out. You should eat in your house. Or this is why everyone hates Indians, because they never tip. They're so stingy. And it was all these like negative comments, and I'm thinking like,
it's just uncomfortable. Like, it's so ridiculous to expect somebody to like, okay. If, especially as a non-American, you're going to a restaurant, you see the price on the menu, and you go, okay, I want to eat here. I'm expecting to pay this price. Like, I want to get a steak. I'm paying $15 for a steak. I know I need to pay $15, right? It doesn't magically become $25. That's not how this works. Like, it's so ridiculous to expect that of a person. So, you know, even as an American, like I said earlier, if you're not making enough and you're relying on tips, like I don't feel sorry for you. I you know, maybe that's a really callous thing to say, but I just don't care. It's like, find another job if that doesn't make sense.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, I think especially after living in Japan for so long and having like such a high bar of service where no tip is expected, and then going to America where the level of service is lower, people say, pay me extra. Even though the cost of the food is a lot higher than what it is in Japan.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm paying more for the food, and then you want me to pay extra for this service that is less than what I can get in Japan. Like, what's going on?
And like I said at the beginning of the episode, this isn't coming from a fact that I'm stingy. I'm okay with paying more, but I don't like the arrogance of like, you need to give me money.
Yeah, if someone goes above and beyond, I'm more than happy to pay them extra as a sign of thanks. But if someone is like, hey, I want you to pay me more money, even though I'm not going to help you more.
You know, it's like this was really common during COVID. Where people would order Uber Eats. And they order Uber Eats, and you would have to pay a tip to the delivery and a tip to the restaurant. And it's like, what is the restaurant doing? You prepared food.
Well, here's the thing. So even so in Japan, for Uber Eats, they have tips too, right? But in America, if you don't pay a tip ahead of time, they won't pick up your food. You'll just order it and it'll sit there because no one will want to do it because they're like, if I'm not getting a tip, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, right?
It's like, I understand you want to make more money from tips, but like, get another job. You know, it's kind of like
exactly. No, but that's what I'm saying.
But you know, I see this a lot, especially in like the service area service industry in America, right? So you have people complaining about. I used to be a busboy, by the way. So I used to work for tips too.
Oh, really?
But
I've never done a service job.
Yeah, I never want to do a service job again.
No, they suck.
I know, because you're like subservient to these people eating food that you bring.
It's terrible.
But anyways, like. So the thing is,
hey guys, if you've watched this far, you're going to love our Austin and Arthur friends.
In the Austin and Arthur friends, you're going to really improve your English listening. And I mean a lot.
Yeah. So for each episode, you'll get English and Japanese subtitles, so you can check your listening and comprehension.
You'll also get access to a members-only community where you can talk with us, the both of us. Mainly me, right?
No, definitely not. For more info, click on the link here or here or here, or in the description box of this video.
Thanks for being our friend. Woo! I have no friends. Wait, what was I totally forgot what I was going to say. You got me off track.
You were a busboy.
Oh, yeah. So I was a busboy, and dang it.
It's just gone?
It's just gone. We were talking about Uber Eats, and we were talking about how people do not
Arthur, we got one more episode we got to film after this.
What? What's the episode?
We're doing 3 episodes today.
No. Okay. I'm fine. I remember now. So So many people talk about how, being a server is so hard. I break my back. I don't make much money. But what's funny is that in Boston, at least in Massachusetts, there's been motions in law for people to make slightly above minimum wage with no tips. And all the servers are like, no way in hell I'm doing that, because they end up making like $30 an hour.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. I think if you asked basically most people in the US and for other tipping countries, but I think tipping is like really an American thing.
Yeah.
If you ask most people, get rid of the tip, food costs more. Yeah. I think most people would say, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but then the servers don't want to do that.
But the servers don't want to do that because they make a lot of money. And it's like, it's so ridiculous. Like, dude, just get rid of tips, make more money. It's just better.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is that it goes back to them like complaining about how their work is so tough and they don't make enough money.
Which it is.
It is.
And
it is
both
very
of
tough.
those are true.
Yeah.
But tipping, it's like tipping is such a greedy thing because it just puts all of the costs onto the customer.
Yeah.
The real problem is the employer is not paying enough money.
Yeah.
Right? And then like a tipper who, it doesn't even matter if they're good at their job. Like you can be good at your job, but like let's not dance around the subject that women tend to get more tips than men do, right?
Yeah.
There's like a whole like gender bias with this thing too. But like it's just there's so many variables that can be out of your control with tipping. And it's just unreasonable to put that onto the customer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this kind of goes back to like what we were talking about in like Japanese hospitality, where you have like a fairly high level of service.
Yeah.
All the rules are decided and everything is really super clear. Like in Japan, you're legally required to share the tax included price. So that's the final price that the people are going to get. But in the States, it's not like that. So it's like, hey, this is $10, but actually it's $12.
One other thing I will really kind of hammer on, because I think this is a real big different mental state between Japan and America. So minimum wage. Okay.
Yeah.
You look at McDonald's employees here in Japan, they work their butts off.
Yeah.
To serve harder. You.
Yeah.
They work super hard. They're very friendly all the time. I have look, I'm going to be honest. Look at this. I'm sorry, family. I love McDonald's. I go there
in Japan.
I go there pretty well. I order there pretty often. Probably like once every 2 weeks, sometimes once a week, but I try not to eat every week. But if I go there, those are minimum wage employees, right? I have never had a bad experience in Japan. I never eat McDonald's in America. And why is that? The reason why is because these are minimum wage people who are miserable. They hate their job and they're just trying to get through the shift. Yeah. They're not going to put any effort in. And it goes the same with like any minimum wage job in America. People, as soon as they know their minimum wage, the amount of effort they will put in an American job is like almost zero. Yeah. There's like, I'm going to do the bare minimum. And so like tips can be used as a good motivator for that. But
in all fairness, people now expect tips. So they still get to like bare minimum effort and they just complain to you if you don't give tips.
Yeah. Which I feel like there are people who put in effort, but I think the expectation for tips, even if you put in effort, like it you shouldn't expect tips.
Yeah.
My argument is people should just get paid more, and I'm not saying increase the minimum wage. I'm saying these job industries should pay more, but they should also demand more from the server. It's like, look, you serving food is the bare minimum that you can do. That's not tip worthy.
Yeah.
Okay. You coming and talking to me and having a conversation for like 5 minutes, that's not tip worthy. I don't care about you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be here. You're a server.
Yeah.
Serve my food.
Yeah.
Like, that's your job. Like, I don't care about you as a human being. You are literally a robot,
Austin,
as far as I'm concerned.
You're so spicy. And that's, by the way, that's why in like familias like Gaso, they now have robots coming around bringing the stuff.
You have the literal robot that serves you food. Should I give that a tip?
No.
Should I give that little 500 yen coin and put that on the little cat robot that serves my food at Caesarea?
I like the cat robot because he doesn't talk to me.
I love the cat robot. It's great. It just brings my food.
Can we just talk about how? So speaking of that, I want to talk about like the tablet ordering system in Japan.
Oh, it's so good, right?
Yeah. So it was so funny because when I went to the States, right, and I remember my dad was like, "Oh, this sucks. You know, we have to scan this QR code and order from the menu. Like, there's no human touch." And I'm like, "That's great. We don't have to waste time."
It's so great. You know something. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. Like, there's a restaurant called Applebee's in America.
Yeah.
You're familiar with it. It's a very big chain in America.
By the way, for all the Japanese people, it's like TGI Fridays.
Yeah, but worse.
A little bit lower.
It's like my friends make fun of me for it because they call it white people food.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's very much white people
It's
food.
fast casual, that's what you call it. It's fast casual.
It's white people food.
Yeah.
And so you go to Applebee's, right? And the thing about Applebee's, you show up and it's like the server, like I don't know if this is a rule that the servers have to do, but I feel like it is. It's like they show up like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like every 5 minutes they'll come by your table and be like, "Hey, do you need anything?" It's like,
okay, I got to stop you because coming from Germany, right? So I remember for my family and for me,
I'm just going to pause this here. We're going to be destroyed for our third episode.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So, yeah, this is already our second bottle today.
I know. We literally have done a bottle an episode. So if you guys think that we don't actually drink, that's...
Okay.
Well,
everyone thinks I drink so much. I only drink when I'm with Austin, so...
I drink every day, so...
Yeah. So anyways, so I remember when I first came to the States...
Did you try this, by the way? Oh, you gotta take the last.
This is our assistant Komi is gonna have the last.
She works very hard, so
yeah, she's awesome. Thank you so much, Komi. She's the reason why our channel is growing so much. So when I first came to the States, you know, me and my family lived in Europe for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So we hated it when we came to America because what would happen is they would give us our food.
Yeah.
And then 2 seconds later, they'd leave and then they'd come back and be like, "Hey, is everything okay?" It's like, of course it's okay. It's the food that you gave us 2 seconds ago. Why are you coming back and bothering me? And now I understand, like, they come back to make sure that everything is right with your order.
No, but that's the thing. Like, it's not whoa, okay. I gotta be careful about that.
Yeah.
So we have a new table where we have some very temporary...
Yeah, don't move the mics.
Temporary mic situation. But that's the thing. They don't care about the order. What they're doing is they have like a little check system.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I check after the food, ask for everything okay, then I'm letting the customer know that I'm trying to do extra things to get a bigger tip.
No, yeah, I get
that's
that.
What
but
that is.
But like the second you give it, that's the point when you should ask, "Is everything okay?" Because that's when I'm actually looking at the food.
Yeah.
You know, like when it comes, I'm checking to see if the food is okay, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like, even coming from Germany, we were like, "Man, just leave us alone."
I'm going to take that an extra step further. You should make sure it's okay before you give me the goddamn food.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
You should look at what I ordered and look at the food and make sure that matches.
Can I ask you, have you in Japan, have you ever gotten
not once
food that was wrong?
I already know what you're about to say. Not a single time.
Yeah.
Not a single time in the 8 years that I've been here in Japan has somebody like messed up my order.
Yeah.
Well, like outside of fast food.
Yeah. There was one time in McDonald's where they actually delivered my coffee to a different table. But other than that, it's been perfect.
The only time I've had to deal with it is like they forgot to remove the pickles. I hate pickles on hamburgers.
Yeah.
I like pickles. Hate them on hamburgers.
Yeah.
And they forgot to remove it. That's the only time in the 8 years that I've been here in Japan. I love restaurants here. I often go to them. Not once has somebody messed up my order.
Yeah. So there's no need to check.
There's no need.
Check ahead of time.
Yeah. It turns out if you just don't screw up your job, which you are being paid to do, you don't have to come check.
Yeah.
Wow. What a big surprise there.
Yeah, man. So So I think to put a pin in this, or to put a bow on this, I should say, we really don't like tipping culture in the States, especially after experiencing such a high level of service here in Japan with no tip.
Yeah, pay your employees more. It's not. This isn't coming from a matter of being stingy. I don't care. I will pay more money.
I am more than happy paying more for food if it's included.
Yeah, totally fine with that. I don't like the arrogance of tipping. Like, I need to pay extra because you came to my table 3 times. Like, go away. Like, don't bother me. I'm coming here for food, not a conversation. Man. This isn't a girls' bar. Okay, I'm not coming here to like sit down and have a conversation and talk about my day. I'm coming here for food. I want a steak and a beer. That's what I want. I don't want a friend.
Austin, this is why your name is first on our channel, because you do an awesome job with this. So in the next episode, I want to talk about the because we got sake from when I was doing when I was an wedding MC for a wedding recently. So I want to talk about the difference between Japanese and American weddings.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this topic.
We talked about you getting married, but not necessarily. Oh yeah, weddings.
Actually, we did talk about it through the context.
We talked about the wedding ceremony, but I don't know if we talked about the reception.
Isn't it crazy? That was like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it feels like yesterday for me.
Your kid is becoming like a little tyrant already. It's awesome.
It's so good, man.
She's a girl, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, like she's so fun. So they're over in Oita right now, and so she started talking like recently. Yeah. Like, she says quite a few things right now. Like, I'm teaching her the alphabet. Like, every time we have bathtub time, we have like an alphabet that's hung up on the wall. And so my wife just messaged me this morning. It's like she was looking for me in her parents' house. She's like, where's Papa? So I miss them. I love having a daughter though. Yeah, it's so great.
I'll tell you, my son's hobby is to punch me. Like, that's
which one is that, Leo?
Both of them. Okay. Like the way that we play is I pretend to be asleep on the couch and they sock me in my gut. Like, that's
dude, it's crazy how different boys and girls are.
I know. I hope my third one's a girl. But anyways, talk about weddings next time.